Discover the incredible night when the billionaire's guard followed the maid. What was revealed. Emily's heart raced as she hurried down the darkened street, the chill of the evening air prickling her skin. With every hurried step she took, the weight of her long day echoed in her mind. It had been a grueling shift at the mansion, dusting off priceless antiques and polishing floors in the home of the reclusive billionaire Michael. Day by day, she poured every ounce of herself into her work, but it was for Oliver, her little boy. He deserved a mother who could offer him a brighter tomorrow. As she approached her apartment, a familiar wave of dread washed over her. The door was locked tight. Panic tightened in her chest. She rummaged through her purse, praying she had left a window open or hidden a spare key, but it was no use. She was locked out. Tears stung her eyes as she sank onto the cold concrete steps, fear clawing at her heart. What would she do? Where would she go? Just then, Jake, the security guard from the mansion, stood at a distance, observing her. He had seen her rush to catch the bus every evening, her worn-out shoes padding against the pavement, carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. Now, witnessing her in distress, his instincts kicked in. Jake, a former military man, understood struggle all too well. It defined him, haunted him. He felt compelled to step into her world, just once. As Emily wandered toward the community center, desperate for warmth, she unwittingly caught Jake's attention. He hurriedly followed her, driven by curiosity and concern. Inside the center, the atmosphere buzzed with laughter and chatter. Families came together, sharing food and hope. Emily immediately immersed herself, hugging children and dishing out meals with a smile. Jake watched as she transformed the darkness of her own predicament into light for others. "Thank you for coming, Miss Emily," a single mother said, tears of gratitude shimmering in her eyes. "You make this place feel like home." Each expression of appreciation filled Emily with purpose, each moment lifting the shadows of her struggles with Oliver. This was why she volunteered. This was family. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as a new camaraderie blossomed between Emily and Jake, an unexpected crisis emerged. Oliver fell ill, a fever wrapping him in an unsettling shroud of pale skin and weak breaths. Emily's heart shattered. It was then she received the tempting call from Michael, an offer to work more hours, earning enough to afford Oliver's medical care. But it came with strings attached, pulling her away from the community she cherished. At a community event bursting with life, drums beating like the pulse of hope, Emily stood at a crossroad. As stories unfolded in the crowd, the applause grew after her heartfelt speech. She felt the weight of their gazes, saw the respect in their eyes. Her past as a maid shifted, and Emily became a symbol of resilience. Now, she faced the hardest choice of her life, the tension crackling in the air. Would she chase her own dreams, or would she stay rooted in her community, helping others fight their battles? As she stood before the crowd, the world felt heavy on her shoulders. The answer awaited her within. Would bravery reflect in her next decision, or would fear hold her back? The audience held its breath, their hearts echoing the question, what will she choose? Emily's heart thudded like a drum in her chest, a stark contrast to the cheers surrounding her. Every face in the crowd reflected hope and admiration, yet all she could focus on was the turmoil inside her. The laughter and applause faded like distant echoes as she weighed her choices. Could she really abandon the community that had embraced her, especially at a time when they needed her most? "Emily, we believe in you." A voice rang out. It was Julia, the single mother, holding her daughter's hand, still wearing the gratitude of their shared moments. The crowd erupted in a cheer that surged through the air like a wave. Thank you, Julia, Emily called back, her voice trembling with the mix of emotions swirling inside her. She knew every ounce of relief she brought to that community was a lifeline she wanted to hold on to. But how could her son get the care he needed without the extra hours at the mansion? The thought of Oliver's fragile state tightened around her heart, each reminder of his fever like a vice grip on her impulses. She took a deep breath, pushing through. I am so grateful for this community. You have been my family in the darkest of times. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears as she scanned the crowd, feeling their encouragement wrapping around her. But to care for my son, I might need to take a job that offers more. Don't leave us, Emily. Someone shouted. The earnestness in their voice pierced through her, urging her to choose them. Jake stepped forward, his tall frame casting a reassuring shadow. He had seen her struggles, he knew how much more was at stake. His eyes locked onto hers, silently nudging her toward the truth swirling within. There was something about his presence it felt like home, even among the chaos. Emily's heart raced anew. Could she really lean on someone like Jake? Would he understand the hesitation that held her back? I won't abandon you, she promised, projecting her voice like a beacon. But I also need to find a way to care for Oliver. The crowd erupted again, a chorus of support igniting a flame inside her. As the evening wore on, the event began to dwindle. One by one, families began to drift away until only a small handful remained, gathered around Emily. The warmth of community hugged her as she realized this was not just a place she volunteered, it was where she belonged. Later, she stood with Jake near the exit, the lights twinkling above them like stars. You were amazing out there, he said, his voice low but filled with sincerity. What are you going to do? I'm trying to figure that out, she admitted, feeling vulnerable and raw. I need the extra hours, but every part of me aches at the thought of leaving these people behind. Maybe you don't have to choose one over the other, he suggested, his gaze unwavering. What if you could take the job and still help your community? Emily's mind raced. What did he mean? She had been so focused on the two options, thinking they were mutually exclusive. But what if there was a way to juggle both? She could offer help and make enough to provide for Oliver. The idea was frightening yet thrilling, igniting a spark of hope within her. What do you mean? She asked, leaning in. Jake grinned slightly, almost shyly. Let us talk about it over coffee sometime. I have ideas that could help. Emily blinked, feeling a flicker of excitement. The offer came with a hint of adventure, a chance to explore a partnership that could carry her far beyond what she imagined. But before she could formulate a response, the moment hung in the air, a delicate balance between new possibilities and the familiar pulse of uncertainty. Will you help me? She asked quietly, the gravity of her plea pressing in on them. Jake nodded, determination radiating off him. Absolutely. As they spoke, a fleeting thought danced in Emily's mind. What if, just what if, she could find both a way to support Oliver and remain the pillar for her community? The hope felt fragile, yet it was there, blooming against all odds. Now, the question remained, was she ready to embrace this unknown path, or would fear whisper louder than her dreams? The answer loomed just ahead, a challenge waiting to be met, and Emily felt herself leaning closer to the edge. What would she discover beyond her fears? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over Emily's neighborhood. The air was thick with the scent of impending rain, and the sounds of distant thunder rolled like a gentle warning. As she walked home, her heart fluttered with both unease and excitement. With every step toward her small apartment, she replayed Jake's words in her mind. Could she really balance a new job and tender her community ties? What kind of job did he have in mind? Ideas swirled, mixing with the doubt that dragged at her heels. Once she crossed the threshold of her home, the familiar surroundings offered little comfort. The clutter of toys, the small table covered with bills, and the faint smell of Oliver's feverish sweat reminded her why she had to navigate this precarious path. She found him sleeping, his forehead glistening, and instinctively reached down to brush his hair away. Her heart swelled with love, a powerful reminder of her purpose. Each day, every moment felt so strapped, so packed with worry. She had fought hard against the blurred lines between her responsibilities as a mother and her desire to forge a meaningful connection with her neighbors. There had to be a balance. She needed that extra income but was desperate to maintain the thread of unity that had intertwined her life with the community. Picking up her phone, she observed the notifications piling up. Among them was a message from Julia: "I hope we can meet tomorrow. The fundraiser needs you." Emily's heart twisted. She wanted to help, yet the thought of neglecting Oliver's care pinched her stomach. Just then, another notification pinged from Jake: "Can we grab that coffee? I have some ideas ready." She stared at the screen, battling the urge to respond instantly. Yet, something held her back. Could she expose her vulnerabilities to him? Sharing her chaos with him felt like a leap into frightening waters. But, deep down, she felt the tether that connected them start to strengthen. Taking a deep breath, she texted both. "Yes, I'll be there." Expectations formed as she drifted into sleep that night, but the nerves lingered. If she opened herself up to Jake, what would she reveal? She needed a plan, not just for the present, but one that could support her and pull her community forward, too. The next morning, the rain had washed the streets clean, and under the gray clouds, Emily made her way to the cafe. The polyphony of chatter and laughter crashed against her as she entered. Her eyes scanned. There he was, Jake, perched at a corner table, looking serious but hopeful. "Hey," she greeted, settling across from him. "Thanks for coming," he smiled, his eyes warm with kindness. "I've been thinking." Before he could finish, a commotion outside caught their attention. A group of children from the community dashed past, shrieking with joy despite the rain. It was a reminder of the laughter that often filled their lives, a stark contrast to the turmoil swirling in Emily's heart. "Maybe we could host family workshops," Jake suggested, his voice slicing through her thoughts. "Provide services to help parents while raising funds for the community." Emily felt her pulse quicken. "What do you mean?" "We can draw in resources, grab sponsorships, and for every workshop, a portion goes back to the families struggling in our neighborhood. It could help you with income and keep you rooted here." Her heart leaped. This was the glimmer of hope she had been desperate for. That could work, yet skepticism crept in. Could they really pull it off? "Of course, it's a big task, but it's worth it," he urged, his gaze steady. Emily knew deep down this could be the answer she was searching for, yet her insecurities bubbled beneath the surface. "But what if it fails?" "Then we learn from it," he said simply, making her feel braver than she had moments before. As they plotted out the text on napkins, Emily felt like she was on the brink of something monumental. But the stakes were higher than just a new job. What if the resource fails to engage them? Jake grinned. "We just have to keep dreaming bigger, right?" The thrill of it all wrapped around Emily. She took a step toward the unknown and, for the first time, felt hope edging out her fears. Suddenly, she remembered Oliver and his burgeoning needs. "I want this to work. Can we handle creating the workshops, and I care for Oliver?" "We will, together," Jake reassured her. Yet there was still a nagging thought left unanswered. What would happen if their ideas didn't take flight? Just as that worry gripped her, a child's laughter rang outside, pure and free. It pulled Emily's focus back to why all of this mattered: the joy of community, the laughter, the future ahead. As she looked into Jake's hopeful eyes, she realized this might be just the beginning of her transformation and the journey ahead. What could they truly accomplish together? And at that moment, Emily understood the importance of stepping into uncertainty, but she also recognized how deep her fears ran. Would the thrill that came with those fears guide her, or would it tear her down? Determined, She held on to the unanswered question as they plotted their next steps. The road ahead was daunting, and she was ready to take it, yet the storm of uncertainty still loomed. What sacrifice would she be willing to make for her son and her community? Emily took a deep breath as she sat across from Jake, the cafe buzzing with warmth and the scent of fresh coffee. The plan was taking shape, and with every word they exchanged, coherent visions of their community workshops began to emerge. The thought sent electric jolts of excitement through her, but it also brought a tide of anxiety crashing in. What if we made the first workshop a fun event? Like a family day? Jake suggested, his smile infectious. We could invite local businesses to set up booths, provide snacks, and have games for the kids. Her mind raced with possibilities. That could attract attention, she mused, fingers drumming nervously on the table. But will families show up? Many have their own battles to fight. They will if we reach out, Jake replied, his passion shining through. It's about making them feel included. If we market it right, and unite the community behind it, we'll see them come together. Emily's heart lifted at his resolve. It reminded her of the spark she'd seen in her neighbors before life struggles became burdens. The flyer design. We'll need something bright and engaging. Maybe focus on bringing joy. Yes. Joy is key. He leaned closer, a fire igniting in his darkness. We could get the kids involved in creating promotions. There's creativity in the community we can harness. She imagined the faces of the children, inspired, their laughter ringing through the air. The image burned bright, promising a day that could encapsulate the spirit of the town. We can make it a celebration of community, she whispered, almost breathless. But how do we fund it? I have limited resources. Jake held her gaze steady. We approach local businesses. Offer advertising space. We'll remind them what they stand to gain from the community. Would they really want to support us? Emily questioned, but her heart was slowly warming to the idea. They will, he assured her, if we communicate our vision clearly. Our efforts can bring in crowds and give them business. It's a win-win. Before she could indulge in the growing optimism, the weight of doubt began to descend once more. I just don't want to let Oliver down. If I focus too much on this, then let me help, Jake interjected. His voice softened. I'm here to support you, Emily. We make this a joint effort. If you need help with Oliver while working on this, I've got your back. Her heart fluttered again, hope battling with fear. Could she trust him enough to lean on him as he suggested? She was used to carrying everything alone. It felt both freeing and terrifying to consider opening that door. Can you handle this, Emily? Jake's tone dropped serious. You can't do it all alone. She looked down, her fingers twisting around the napkin. I need to be a good mom. It's already hard as it is. Being a good mom includes showing Oliver the power of community, he said gently. Imagine how proud he'll be seeing you take this step, seeing the joy in others. It'll teach him resilience. Tears threatened to spill over, the vulnerability of her situation eating away at her. She thought about how Oliver's struggles mirrored her own, both of them navigating through the storm in their own way. I want this to work for him, for all of us. And it will, together, Jake replied, reaching for her hand. She felt the warmth surge through her, a connection forging that tangled her heart with hope and anxiety. As they discussed logistics and ideas, a slight hush fell around them, the sounds of the cafe fading into the background. It felt like a bubble, an oasis of determination and dreams. But doubt lingered like a shadow, whispering fears about the practicalities of pulling this off. Would they genuinely reach the community? Would it distract her from Oliver's needs? So many what-ifs loomed, and they were like dull weights at the back of her mind. Just then, a child's laughter erupted from the street, bright and unrestrained, reminding her of the essence they sought to capture and the vision they had begun to create. Let us do it, Emily finally said, her voice carrying a newfound resolve. Let us bring joy to the community. For our kids. As she let her courage guide her, a surge of confidence rose within her. But as the tension of her responsibilities settled back onto her shoulder, she couldn't help but wonder, what would be the price of chasing this dream? With that thought in mind, Emily left the cafe feeling lighter yet burdened. The workshop was just the beginning, and ahead lay weeks of planning, pitching, and managing the delicate balance of motherhood. What challenges would arise as she forged this new path? Emily woke up early the next morning, barely able to sleep after all the excitement from the cafe. The sunlight streamed through her window, illuminating her untidy room and the toys scattered across the floor. Oliver was still asleep, blissfully unaware of the whirlwind of planning that awaited her. She tiptoed into the kitchen, brewed a strong cup of coffee, and sat at the small dining table, flipping through her notes from the previous day's brainstorming session with Jake. The possibilities danced before her eyes, but lingering doubts pinched at the edges of her enthusiasm. Could they really pull this off? Would her neighbors care enough to come together? It was a leap into the unknown, and she hesitated, heart racing with every new thought. Maybe it's too much, she whispered to herself, fingers tapping on her mug. But just as doubt began to sink its claws into her heart, Oliver appeared, rubbing his sleepy eyes. The sight of him pulled her back. He climbed into her lap, finding warmth and comfort. "Morning, Mommy," he mumbled, his small voice a perfect antidote to the uncertainty swirling in her mind. "Good morning, sweet pea." She hugged him tight, remembering how vital this was for him, too. If she could inspire joy in the community, maybe he would finally see the beauty of connection, that warmth, and discover resilience in their own struggles. After breakfast, Emily put on her shoes and decided to take a walk. Fresh air often cleared her thoughts. As she strolled through the neighborhood, passing the small houses lined with gardens, a gentle smile crept onto her face. The flowers were blooming, and children could be heard laughing in the distance. It was then that she spotted the old community center. Its peeling paint and locked doors had become a symbol of neglect. Her heart tightened as she imagined it filled with laughter, the echoes of voices sharing in joy, like she and Jake dreamed. She stood there, letting the warmth of the sun cast shadows of hope across her mind. Feeling bold, she made her way up the steps. The door creaked open, and she stepped inside, the smell of dust and old wood surrounded her. Memories flooded back: her first art class, the baked goods their school would sell for fundraisers, and the summer camps where friendships blossomed. Could it be revived? She walked deeper into the center, envisioning what it could be. What if this place could be the heart of the workshops? She thought, heart skipping with excitement. The potential was overwhelming, and she could almost hear the laughter of families echoing through the halls again. As her thoughts raced, she spotted a figure at the back of the room. It was Jake, arms crossed, deep in thought. He had followed her, sharing the spark she felt. She felt a rush of gratitude that he believed in this too. "Jake," she called softly, and he turned, his face lighting up with a grin. "This place could use a little love, huh?" he said, glancing around with admiration. "We could definitely make something beautiful happen here." Their eyes locked, an understanding deeper than words passed between them. They were both in this together, bound by a dream that began to feel tangible. But just as excitement bubbled back up, Emily's phone chimed with a message. She glanced down, her heart quelling at the sight. It was from her mother. "Oliver's school has a meeting this Wednesday. You should be there." Emily's stomach tightened. Balancing the meeting with her responsibilities and this newfound passion felt impossible. Could she manage it all? The community workshop, being there for Oliver, and her mother's expectations all hovered over her like a weight, dragging her back to reality. "Everything okay?" Jake asked, concern knitting his brow. She swallowed hard, forcing a smile. "Stuff with my mom. Just family obligations." He nodded, understanding the strain that family could exert. You're juggling a lot. But remember, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here. Thank you, she replied. But the looming worry wrapped around her like a blanket. The challenges were only just beginning, and as they gazed around the empty center, a question settled in her mind. Would she be able to balance it all? As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow throughout the community center, Emily felt small waves of hope battling anxiety within her. The road ahead seemed long and daunting, but perhaps the spark was finally igniting. What dreams would blossom here? How would she manage everything? With determination lining her heart, she knew she was about to find out. The next morning brought a wave of anticipation mixed with anxiety. Emily had spent the night tossing and turning, her mind racing with thoughts that circled like vultures: the community center, the upcoming meeting, and Oliver's needs. With a deep breath, she focused on Oliver as he bounced into her room, full of energy. "Can we have pancakes today, Mommy?" he chirped. His contagious smile cut through the fog of uncertainty that had shrouded her since yesterday. "Of course, sweet pea." With her heart warming at the sight of him, she hurried to the kitchen, the smell of frying batter filling the air, scattering some of her worries for a moment. As they ate together, she relished the laughter and syrupy mess of their morning routine. But just as she began to feel a flicker of calm, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a group message from the neighborhood chat. "Anyone excited for this Friday's community potluck?" A potluck. Emily sat there, weighing her options. It felt like the universe was pushing her toward action. Could this be the moment to rally support for the community workshops? "Oliver, how would you like to help me with something special this week?" she asked, her voice brimming with excitement. "Like a project?" His eyes sparkled with interest, a look she adored. "Yes. We're going to spread the word. We want everyone to come to the community center. I'll need your help baking goodies for the potluck." Oliver squealed, clapping his hands as joy erupted between them. The idea of combining their efforts filled Emily with light. It was more than just a workshop, it was a chance for her son to see how passion could ignite a community. Later that day, armed with a list of ingredients, Emily and Oliver headed to the local grocery store. The aisles brimmed with colorful packages, and as they loaded their cart, she noticed an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Whitaker, struggling to reach a box of cereal on the top shelf. "Here, Mrs. Whitaker," Emily offered, stretching to grab the box. "I've got it." "Oh, thank you, dear." The woman's smile was warm, and for a moment, they exchanged stories about the neighborhood's past. It was these small connections that Emily cherished deeply. Each story, like thread, tied her into the fabric of the community. "Are you going to the potluck on Friday?" Mrs. Whitaker asked, her gray eyes twinkling with curiosity. "Yes, actually. I'm thinking of organizing some activities for the kids, too." "Oh, that sounds just delightful. We could use some fun." Mrs. Whitaker beamed. "I'll bring my famous potato salad." Emily felt a swell of gratitude as the conversation sparked a flurry of ideas in her mind. If everyone contributed a dish and shared their stories, perhaps this gathering could become something more than food, it could be a celebration of connection and unity. As they finished shopping and returned home, Emily's phone vibrated again. This time, it was a text from Jake. "Hey, are we still on for planning at the center tonight?" "Absolutely," she shot back. They had a chance to get everything organized before the potluck, but she couldn't shake the anxiety gnawing at her. Could they really pull this off? That evening, as she prepped for their meeting, she replayed the day's events in her mind: the connection with Mrs. Whitaker, Oliver's enthusiasm, the warmth of community. Gathering herself, she reminded herself why she was doing this. Jake arrived soon after, and the air buzzed with energy as they began to brainstorm. "What if we create a craft corner for the kids?" Jake suggested, jotting down ideas. They bounced thoughts back and forth like a game, igniting each other's creativity. Just as things began to settle into a flow, Emily's phone flashed again. Her heart dropped when she saw the notification. Another message from her mother. "Look, Emily, if you're not going to prioritize family, how can you expect others to take you seriously?" This struck her deeply, a reminder of how her mother always expected her to follow a certain path. Shadows whispered doubts, gnawing at her determination. Jake noticed her rigidity, the way her smile faltered. "Hey, everything okay?" Ink darkened her thoughts, but she pushed it aside, adopting a brave mask. "Yeah, just some family stuff. But would pushing through a smile be enough?" As they dove back into planning, a question lingered in the air, heavy with possibility. Could she truly forge her own path while also honoring her family expectations? As the night unfolded, Emily felt a burgeoning sense of purpose rising in her veins, a flame of hope that could not be dimmed, but would it be enough to guide her through the challenges ahead? The days crawled forward, tension thickening the air like summer heat. The potluck barely a day away, Emily found herself in the kitchen, flour dusting her cheeks as she and Oliver crafted a mountain of cookies. The sweet smell surrounded them, and with each cookie that popped out of the oven, she felt their lightness lifting her spirits, too. "Mommy, can we make some in shapes?" Oliver's voice pierced through her momentary distraction. "What shapes do you want?" she asked, trying to commit to the moment, but the voice of her mother echoed in her mind. "Stars. And hearts," he exclaimed, his enthusiasm a needed distraction. "Perfect. Let us make them extra special." Emily nodded, rolling out the dough and lifting it with fond memories of her childhood kitchen, where laughter and flour fights were the order of the day. She glanced at Oliver, delight radiating from his face, feeling a flicker of hope. Maybe simple moments could drown out the noise of disapproval. In the back of her mind, however, nagging doubts lingered. The upcoming meeting with the community still loomed heavy, and the rift with her mother seemed deeper than ever. Emily wondered if she could truly make a splash without losing herself. As they layered icing and sprinkles atop each cooled cookie, Emily's phone buzzed once more. It was a reply from Jake. "Can you bring a few of those cookies tomorrow? Everyone is looking forward to the potluck." A smile tugged on her lips, but then a wave of anxiety washed over her. Would her cookies be enough to draw people in? Would her ideas matter to anyone? "Oliver, these cookies are going to help us share something special," she said, wanting to sound confident for him. "Yeah. Maybe they'll taste so good everyone will want to join our project." He grinned, a sweet innocence that made her heart swell. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, thinking of everything: her mother, Jake, Oliver's bright eyes, and the enticing possibilities of tomorrow. Before sleep finally claimed her, she decided that whatever fears whispered in the dark, she would fight them with the one thing that had always helped her through: community. Morning arrived bright and clear. She and Oliver packed their goodies: cookies, cakes, and a hopeful spirit into a basket that Oliver insisted on carrying himself. As they approached the community center, a flutter of energy washed over her. She could feel something significant brewing in the air. Inside, families chatted happily, each bringing their unique dish, and laughter filled the space like magic. Emily saw Mrs. Whitaker already discussing her potato salad with a gaggle of kids clamoring to help in the craft corner. "Mommy, look!" Oliver tugged at her sleeve. "Everyone is here just like we wanted." With her heart racing, Emily nodded, feeling a surge of excitement. This was it, their moment of connection had arrived. Then Jake appeared, waving energetically. "Hey, ready to kick this off?" He beamed. "Absolutely," she replied, the spark igniting again. They quickly huddled, finalizing ideas for the activities while letting the atmosphere infuse their spirits with warmth. But just as they began setting up, Emily caught the flicker of movement across the room. It was her mother, stepping through the doorway. A mix of emotions swelled within her: surprise, dread, and, oddly, hope. Her mother had never been one to embrace spontaneity. She felt her stomach twist. Would this be another battle, or could it be an opportunity for understanding? As she inhaled deeply, Emily stood tall, trying to remember her purpose, the woman she wanted to be. Today was not just about food and games, it was about creating a deeper connection that transcended differences. "Mom," she started to call out, but the words got caught in her throat, an emotional chokehold. "Emily, I'm here," her mother replied, an edge of uncertainty lacing her voice. The words floated between them, heavy and charged, waiting for resolution. As the first round of laughter bubbled up and the community began to form, Emily realized the stakes were higher than she anticipated. This was not just about the potluck, it was about confronting expectations, dreams, and the ties that bind. Could they really find common ground? The potluck was just beginning, but already she felt the pull of destiny in the air, as her gaze locked with her mother, teetering on the brink of something transformative. Would today finally change everything? Emily's heart raced as the crowd buzzed with excitement, their laughter like a beacon guiding her toward a connection she had longed for. Her mother stood across the room, uncertainty etched on her face. For a moment, the noise faded, and all that existed was her mother's gaze, a mix of apprehension and an unspoken desire to bridge the gap that had widened over the years. "Come on, Oliver. Let us show Grandma the cookies," she urged, breaking the spell that held her in place. Hand in hand, they navigated through the sea of familiar faces. It was a conscious step toward vulnerability, an act of love intended to thaw the cold air between them. "Look, Grandma!" Oliver exclaimed, his voice gleeful, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "We made stars and hearts." As Oliver proudly displayed their creation, a parade of colorful cookies, Emily's mother's expression softened. She stepped closer, kneeling down to Oliver's level. "You did such a wonderful job, sweetheart. Can I try one?" Emily held her breath as Oliver eagerly handed over a star-shaped cookie. The moment hung in the air, fragile yet electrifying. It wasn't just a cookie pass, it was a symbol of their shared efforts, a bridge being built with sugar and icing. As her mother took a bite, Emily watched for a reaction, her stomach in knots. Would it land well or crumble? To her relief, her mother's eyes widened. "This is delicious, Emily. I didn't know you could bake like this." The compliment hung in the air, sweetening the atmosphere. "Thanks, Mom," Emily replied, the warmth spreading through her heart. It felt like a small victory, one that left her feeling seen. With the cookie connoisseur satisfied, Emily suggested setting up a craft table for the kids, eager for some family involvement. "Maybe we could all help out together. It would be fun." The words tasted like hope as she offered a way to include her mother in the festivities. Her mother hesitated, glancing at the chaos around them. "I'm not sure. I haven't done something like this in ages," she admitted, vulnerability raw in her voice. "Just jump in. Everyone is here to have a good time, no judgments," Emily encouraged, not wanting to let fear or old routines hold them back any longer. After a moment of contemplation, her mother smiled, a reluctant yet genuine expression. "All right, let us do it," she said, determination surfacing in her tone. With newfound purpose, they started gathering supplies for crafts. Emily felt the stirring of a connection rekindling, each shared giggle from Oliver, each soft exchange with her mother slowly stitching together the fabric of their bond. More families joined in, and laughter rang through the room louder than before. The atmosphere transformed into a vibrant tapestry of colors, ideas, and joy, each brush stroke of paint another moment of reclaiming affection. But just as Emily settled into this emerging joy, glancing sideways and sharing an encouraging nod with her mother, a hush fell across the room. The front doors swung wide, and a newcomer stepped inside, radiating an unfamiliar authority. He wore an air of confidence that turned heads, a man whose mere presence seemed to command attention. "Excuse me," he began, his voice booming across the gathering. I hope I'm not too late to join this wonderful celebration. He grinned widely, a charm that seemed misplaced in a sea of families. Emily exchanged glances with her mother, bewilderment flaring like a flame. Who was this stranger? What did he want? As the room buzzed with curiosity, Emily felt the thrill of unpredictability spark in her chest. Here they were, she, Oliver, and her mother finally beginning to mend their threads of connection, only now faced with an uninvited twist in their story. What would this newcomer reveal? Would he disrupt the harmony they had started to weave together? The tension hung in the air, a drumroll for the next chapter of their journey, uncertain yet full of promise. The stranger's voice cut through the chatter, and Emily felt a chill despite the warmth of the room. The door swung shut behind him, and all eyes turned, curiosity and uncertainty blending in the air like the smell of sugar and icing. Who is he? Emily whispered to her mother, urgency threading through her tone. I don't know, her mother replied, her brow furrowing. But he looks important. Oliver, oblivious to the undercurrents, tugged at Emily's hand, excitedly shifting attention back to the crafts. Look, Mom. Can I use the glitter? His exuberance was infectious, yet Emily's focus was still on the man who had just walked in, a mix of intrigue and wariness unfurling within her. As the man strode further into the room, he scanned the faces before him, eyes landing briefly on Emily and her mother. She felt a strange pulse at that moment, a recognition sparking, but brushing it aside did nothing to ease her discomfort. There was something about him, something that felt too intrusive in this atmosphere of family and festivity. Excuse me. He called again, his friendliness betraying a hint of purpose. I promise I'm not here to intrude. Just wanted to learn more about this lovely gathering. He glanced at the decorations, but it was clear his interest was not solely in the crafts or the cookies. Before anyone could respond, her mother stood up straight, as if summoned by a force she hadn't been aware of, her expression shifting from curiosity to cautious welcome. You're here for the holiday celebration? We're just starting some crafts with the children. Yes. It seems like a wonderful time. His smile was infectious, yet beneath it lay an intensity that pulled at Emily's intuition, nagging away at the back of her mind. With subtle movements, he made his way to the craft table, joining Oliver and picking up a glue stick. What are we making here? He focused on Oliver, who beamed under the attention. Emily leaned in toward her mother, whispering again, Do you really think we should be welcoming a stranger? Especially now? Her mother nodded slowly, though uncertainty flickered in her eyes. Everyone deserves a chance. Maybe he just wants to fit in. But Emily could sense the tension building. The newfound joy they were creating could be diminished by this unfamiliar presence. The laughter resumed, but every so often, Emily caught glimpses of the man, drawing too many eyes wherever he went. Chatting with kids, laughing with parents, collecting bits of glitter and glue, all while seeming to observe something deeper than crafting. Hours passed like moments, the chaos of color and sound surrounding them. Yet, that air of joyous uncertainty never fully evaporated. Emily's heart raced again, not from exuberance but from the question brewing inside her. What was he really up to? Just as she resolved to confront him, he turned abruptly, catching her gaze with an intensity that froze her momentarily. I hope you don't mind me bringing a friend, he said smoothly, his voice cutting sharply through the ongoing chatter. From behind him, a woman stepped into the glow, her presence instantly altering the room's energy, a beautiful, poised figure whose expression indicated she already knew so much more than what met the eye. Who is that? Oliver squeaked, clutching Emily's hand tighter. I don't know, Emily admitted, curiosity giving way to unease. Every layer of this celebration seemed to peel back, revealing something profound beneath, something both threatening and exciting. As Emily's breath caught in her throat, the stranger's words hung heavy in the air. I believe we have much to discuss, especially about the cookies. What did he mean? And why did it feel like this holiday was just the beginning of something far beyond their cozy gathering? The atmosphere in the community center shifted yet again, like a tide pulling in the most unexpected currents. Emily's heart raced. She felt the warmth of the family gathering around her, yet it was hard to ignore the subtle undertow. The strangers had disrupted the harmony, growing into a backdrop of tension that threatened to overshadow everything they had worked for. "Who are they?" she whispered urgently to her mother, half hoping for reassurance. The sudden appearance of the formidable man and his companion had ignited anxiety, and she could sense the cautious curiosity in her mother's eyes. "They seem interesting," her mother replied, her voice hesitant. Closing in together, they were drawn to the stranger as he held a cookie aloft, its vibrant colors glistening in the overhead lights. "These are exceptional. Definitely the stars of this gathering." He let out a rich laugh, hoping to charm the murmurs of skepticism filling the room. As he turned to the crowd, the woman beside him stepped forward, exuding a poised confidence. "I've been hearing about the community's efforts to come together, and I must say, you have done a marvelous job." Her words melted the ice in the air just a fraction. Emily felt something heavy in the air shift, but every instinct told her to be wary. "Thank you," Emily said, meeting the stranger's gaze with one of her own. "But can I ask what brings you both here?" The man's smile didn't falter, but his eyes narrowed. "Ah, yes. My name is David, and this is Sarah," he gestured to the woman. "We're here to explore the community and perhaps see if there are ways we can contribute." Sarah's smile flickered for a moment, a hint of mischief dancing behind it. "We've heard there are plans in place for exciting workshops." "Sounds delightful." Desire swelled in Emily. There was a possible opportunity, but also a gut instinct warning her of betrayal. "We're just trying to share joy and resources here," Emily replied, resolved to cut through the carefully crafted image. "Well, we'd love to partner with you," David replied, tone smooth as silk, but something felt slippery about those words. "Why not merge our talents? You could benefit from our connections." "Connections?" Her voice took on an edge. What did he mean? Before she could delve deeper, Oliver tugged her arm. "Mom! Can we make more crafts?" He was oblivious to the tension, his little heart sparkling in the festive atmosphere. "Of course, buddy." She knelt down to him, momentarily drawing the protective mother within her back to the forefront. As she attempted to redirect Oliver's attention, she caught Jake's eye across the room. He navigated the gathering, a firm presence of calm amidst the rising chaos. The warmth of their earlier dreams unfolded in Emily's heart, family's bonding, joy weaving like threads through their lives. Slowly, she began to feel renewed strength in the midst of doubt. Jake made his way toward her, gaze focused on David. "Hey, Emily. I think we might need to keep our eyes open here." "Agreed," she nodded. She swallowed the lump in her throat. She wanted this event to mean everything it stood for. Community, belonging, support. But could future aspirations be altered by someone else's ambition? "Together, we can reinforce this," Jake said, closing the space between them. There was a trust that flickered in his eyes, firm and steady. "They may have good intentions, but let us stay grounded in what we're doing." As the evening wore on, engagement developed into something more, the children buzzing with creativity, the families socializing over shared bites. Laughter wasn't silenced by mistrust, even if it lurked beneath the surface, refusing to drown out the song of unity striving to soar. Emily, guided by Oliver's laughter, joined a group painting signs that welcomed their neighbors, embracing them into the fold of their community. She felt lighter as the worry tethered to her heart began to dissipate, fueled by every stroke of color and joy around her. In the hush of the moment, David stepped near yet again, drawn back in. What if this community could have access to resources that could help all of you thrive? He leaned closer, casting a gaze that felt appraising. "Thrive?" Emily mirrored, stepping forward. "What do you mean?" Suddenly, Sarah interjected, her voice lilting. "We'd like to discuss ways to develop programs, initiatives that could bring sponsorship and funding for youth engagement. Wouldn't that be exciting? Emily could feel a weight on her shoulders, suffocated by the shift in the air. Her intuition screamed conflict, yet a spark ignited in her heart, nudging her into the unknown. This could be an avenue of support, but it painted over the beauty of what they were creating with uncertainty. "Thank you for your interest," Emily replied, steadying herself. "But our foundation here needs to come from the community itself. We're building connections that resonate deeper than resources." She took a breath, feeling the sturdy grounding of everything she desired with Jake and Oliver by her side. David's smile faltered slightly, and for a flickering instant, the facade broke. Yet he quickly regained momentum. "Of course, but we're here for collaboration, not domination. Think of the greater good." With determination swelling, Emily maintained her position. "Yes, but kindness and authenticity are part of that greater good, and they can't be superficial." The air thickened with tension as murmurs dotted the gathering, curious eyes flitting between Emily, Jake, and David. "All right then, let us show the true heart of our community," David said, a hint of eagerness marred by an unyielding glance. "We'll see who really belongs here." At that moment, Emily decided enough was enough. She shared looks with Jake, an unspoken agreement that they would not let anyone disrupt their community. With each person gathered together around her, she saw the truth: they were a family forged through challenges and joy alike. She smiled, allowing hope to buoy her spirit. Together with her community, they would thrive. Together, they would craft a future woven from the strength and connection encapsulated in their very hearts. As the laughter resumed and stories began anew, bonds strengthened amidst uncertainty. Emily inhaled deeply, feeling the warmth reflected in every smile surrounding them. Hope blossomed. Whatever storms might come, she knew she wouldn't face them alone. Their journey was just beginning, full of possibilities that would dance before them, radiating brightly on the horizon. The foundation of their dreams lay secure, knitted by resilience and purpose. With a heart that felt full to bursting, she turned back to the activities brimming with life, Oliver pulling her toward the craft table, her anchor. Here, amidst laughter and light, Emily embraced both the challenges and the bounty of love in unity. And this, above all, felt like home. Now, dear friends, this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now to catch every exclusive story, and leave a like right now to feed the algorithm. Your support means the world, so comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. Join us on this incredible journey together.